Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to start collecting Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry video for you, and today we're going to be looking at how to start a Sylvaneth Warband using Skaeth's Wild Hunt. Skaeth's Wild Hunt are one of the two Warhammer Underworlds warbands that came in the Beastgrave starter box, and like many of the Warhammer Underworlds warbands, they have got rules in the Tome of Champions 2021. If you like any of the warbands from the seasons of Beastgrave, Night Vault, Shadespire, or Dire Chasm, you can find all the rules for those warbands in the Tome of Champions 2021, and hopefully we'll see rules for the warbands of the current season, Harrow Deep, very soon as well. With that all said, in today's video, we're going to take a look at what Skaeth's Wild Hunt gives us on the table and look at some other Sylvaneth units we can bring into the force later, and then also finish the video off with a little sample 1000 Renown Warband. And so, kicking us off, let's talk about Skaeth and his Wild Huntsman. We have the triple called Might of Kurnoth. Now, this is available to be used by Carthaean. Carthaean is one of the fighters in the warband. He's the horn blower you can see to the left. Now, Carthaean can use this for a triple until the end of the battle round. Add one to the attacks characteristic of attack actions that have a range characteristic of 3 or less made by friendly fighters or whilst they are within 6 inch of this fighter. Really cool sort of base to use around Carthaean to get a good amount of fighters around him to get some extra attacks out of them. Now looking at those stat lines for the Warband, first of all, we have Skaeth the Huntsman. Skaeth the Huntsman has a toughness of 4, 22 wounds, which is pretty decent for an Sylvaneth model. A lot of them tend to be rather flimsy, but he's got an 8-inch range on his giant javelin, 2 attack, strength 4, 2-5, meaning he can use that in either combat or at range, which is really nice. We then have Carthaean himself, the Hornblower, who has 3 attacks with strength of 3, a 2-4 damage, toughness 3 and 12 wounds, so it can be a little bit flimsy, so definitely want to protect that character. We then have Sheok, who is the fighter with the sword down on the bottom left. 4 attacks at strength 3, 1-4, toughness 3, and 10 wounds on that model. Once again, just showing Sylvaneth are generally quite flimsy, especially the Tree Revenants. But these models are generally quite cheap, so you can fit quite a decent amount of Tree Revenants in your force. We have then Arthaean with toughness of 3 and 10 wounds. Again, this is the archer of the warband. 3 to 15 inch range on that bow with 2 attacks at strength 3, 1-4, and then 2 attacks at strength 3, 1-2 in combat with its little punch. We then have Lygan, who is the cool little lion available for the warband. Toughness 3, 8 wounds, an 8-inch move, beast monster as well, 3 attacks at strength 3 and 1-4 on the damage. All in all, a decent little warband. This does come in pretty cheap, under 500 renown, and there's some great ways you can combine this to get a really cheap warband on the table nice and quick. And so, where do we go to after here? Well, I particularly like adding a Branch Wraith to my Sylvaneth forces. Branch Wraith has a really cool ability for a triple called Blessing of the Forest, where they can heal a damage point to all friendly fighters within 6 inch of them. This is really great. You don't have a lot of wounds on the table, so being able to heal is really important. The fact that you can use this on multiple fighters at once is even better. You can combine this with the fact that all Sylvaneth do get a double ability called Draw from the Spirit Song, where you get to heal an amount of wounds equal to half the value of that ability, and that's a double available once again to all Sylvaneth models inside your warband. Now, the cool thing about the Sylvaneth warbands for Warhammer Underworlds is that both of them really are cheap. And so you can create a really cheap warband with Skaeth's Wild Hunt in combination with Yuthari's Guardians. Yuthari's Guardians are the other Sylvaneth warband. They were released in an earlier time, and they've got some pretty cool abilities of their own where they can get some extra fight. Their leader, Yuthari, can do a nice more damage sort of outburst with the Reaping on a quad. But you also get another archer in the warband, you get another couple of fighters who hit definitely harder than most of your fighters in Skaeth's Wild Hunt, maybe except besides Skaeth himself. And then, like I said, Yuthari's got some short range damage due to being a wizard, so your normal sort of 3-7 range attack with 2 attacks, strength 3, 3-6 on the damage. And you can also get some extra damage, so you'll get extra attacks with Skaeth's Wild Hunt, meanwhile you get extra damage for a double on your Yulthari's Guardians model. So a really great warband to add together. Both of these warbands come in at under 500 renown, meaning you can take both on the tabletop at the same time in a 1000 renown warband, which is really cool. Kurnoth Hunters are another fantastic option to add to your warband. They're definitely a tough unit for Sylvaneth, where most of your stuff is definitely a lot more fragile. Kurnoth Hunters have 30 wounds and a toughness of 4, which is just great. This is even before we start looking at the character options available to the Kurnoth Hunters, which have 35 wounds instead. You've got the cool ability Trample Underfoot for a double, where you can do some wounds automatically with a ability, and so this allows you to pick a visible enemy fighter within 1 inch of this fighter and roll a number of dice equal to the value of its ability for each 4+ allocated damage point. So some really good options there. Plus you've got the access to the Kurnoth Hunters with bows, which have a 3 to 20 inch range, 2 attacks at strength 4, 2, 5 on the damage, so some more shooting power, or some good combat power in either the size with 3 attacks at strength 4, 3, 6 on the damage, or with that great swords 4 attacks, strength 4, 2, 5 on the damage. Some fantastic options there. Lastly, we have Tree Revenants. I think they're a fantastic option for a Sylvaneth warband, and they definitely fit in the theme you've gone with Skaeth's Wild Hunt with the more humanoid sort of versions. You could make some really cool conversions to act as your Tree Revenants, but 3 attacks, strength 3, 1, 3 is nothing to write home about, and they only cost 50 renown. But what they're really great for is their Walk the Spirit Path's triple ability, where they can teleport around the battlefield and go anywhere with that triple to 5 inch outside of enemy opponents. It's a really, really strong and powerful ability that just gives you some great maneuverability, which otherwise can be a relatively slow force with your foot slogging troops. And so here we have put together a little sample warband. Now we have gone down the route of using both Skaeth's Wild Hunt and Yulthari's Guardians in the same warband. And so both our leaders are in here, Skaeth and Yulthari, give us a really cool sort of duo of creatures. Yulthari's Guardians are going to be able to sit at the back there, and we can generally use Yulthari as a more offensive part of the force, to, I guess, be on the counter-offensive with that short-range firepower. Meanwhile, you've got Ainsley the Revenant Archer, which can sit back and definitely lay some firepower down. Meanwhile, you'd use sort of Skaeth's Wild Hunt, converging on the same sort of models. You definitely want them around Carthage, getting the most out of his cool triple ability. We've got enough renown in there for a single Tree Revenant to come in the force, giving us some really good extra maneuverability, and a lone model that can definitely just sort of go collect objective points and do a little bit of lone model work. Remembering, most of these models are really fragile, so it is important that we keep things together and really force our opponent to have to choose targets separately. We don't want to leave our models exposed because they are, as mentioned, really fragile, so they'll come down. Now, 970 renown is great. You could definitely swap out a couple of models here. Potentially trying to find the points for a Kurnoth Hunter in here. Maybe dropping a couple of pieces could definitely give you some options there and get a Kurnoth Hunter in, which is definitely a really good decision if that's what you want to go down. But 114 wounds is also really light on the wounds. This is just a thing Sylvaneth do if you don't include a Kurnoth Hunter. However, like we said, there's no reason that Tree Revenant's only costing you a few points, so you've got 2 box sets here. Skaeth's Wild Hunt, Yulthari's Guardians combined will give you a really cheap way to get into Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, drop us a comment down below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine little community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so by joining our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description. Lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel and get your name up on the screen like all these fantastic people do, you can do so by supporting us either on Patreon or YouTube members. As a special thanks to all our Patreon and YouTube members, we'd love to give them a shout out. So a shout out to our Patreons: Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, and Dynat226. And a shout out to our YouTube members: Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Shelf, Adriana Edwards, and Sean Scott. A special thanks as well to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for our channel, and to Xmorphic, who does all the amazing background work for our channel's Discord server as well. Thank you all for watching. Once again, everyone, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.